Hi, and welcome to Albert the Technologist. So, this is the Gateway 2-in-1 laptop everybody knows about, and some people don't like because of some of the issues. I did upgrade this to Windows 11 Pro, but Microsoft says it wasn't activated. I went to the Microsoft website to install it. So now I had to revert backwards to what I had on there. It couldn't recognize. It said it couldn't recognize the company that made this device. Something like that. I'm still doing evaluation builds and stuff like that. So that's what's going on here. I went to download GPU Z and CPU Z to see exactly what's inside the devices. Now, GPU Z has the latest Intel graphics installed because Microsoft won't install the latest graphic installer. But then, Microsoft uses proprietary, or whatever they deem is. All right, so I just installed it. It takes a while though. It takes more than 10 minutes to install the driver. I'm using SSD. I download everything to the SSD. I'm using 32-bit. I do have 64-bit. Never bothered to put it in there yet. But, well, 32-bit is a lot for this device. I mean, you got 64-bit BWIN drive. It's a micro, it's like an EMC, but it's a BWIN drive. That's what they call it. That's what they install. So we know that the GPU in this is Intel 4K. It's 64-bit. It's the system is using DDR4 RAM, so it's not using DDR3. So they didn't skimp there. All right, I'm going to pause this video and let me log in. Everything's touchscreen. I love the touchscreen. This is the only thing I have in the house. The only laptop I have in the house is touchscreen. Yes, it gets hot. That's why you have to use. I use a metal. If I'm using it on the couch, I use a metal, like an old server cover. It's like a metal cover with holes because it does get hot. Well. But this is not the only laptop that's hot. I was working someplace and they had exact duplicate of this laptop, but Levino, the people who took over IBM, the Chinese company that took over IBM, Levo, something, NO, whatever it's called. Yeah, they have exact duplicate of this. It looks just like this, but it too gets hot. So, okay, the driver is installed. Let me see if we can get the device manager. I was curious if the driver did install. Oh, I forgot. Device manager. Does this thing has Bluetooth? Let's see what version of Bluetooth it is. I have never really mess around and playing around with to see what it is. Oh, okay. I'm using Beltec Bluetooth. I mean, it does work. It does connect. Let's see. Camera. Display. Okay. Display driver. Intel U Ultra Graphics HD. Now, they didn't skimp there, I tell you that. See, it says driver 3/18/2022. Yes, driver version 30. So the new latest driver is in here. It's not some outdated driver. Good. I got another Gateway laptop. I got it in 2012. I got that from Target. I should have bought the two of them. They're cheap. They're $249. Upgradable. Well, they run i3 core, and upgradable to 8 gig of RAM. I was it? I think last year or 2021, either 2021 or 2020. I took out the 2.5 WD hard drive that was in there. It was very slow. I also upgraded the wireless to 802.11 AC. It had 802.11n in there. Got those before things went out of control. Okay, good. I wonder when that came up. I didn't click on that. All right, let's see. So CPUC reports. Oops. Oh, by the way, every time Microsoft updates Windows, you got to go use TCP Optimizer 4. Right click on that exec and run it as an administrator. Otherwise, it'll never change the settings in the BIOS. Okay, so we got an N4000. It's supposed to be an N4000. Well, that's N4000 series, but we know it's an N4 2020. Gemini Lake, 6 watts socket, 14 millimeter. Now see, it tells you right here, it's running an N4020 CPU, 1.10 gigahertz, 667. This is all the features. Core speed, it bounces between, it says here, see, it goes like 27, so it's going like 2.7, no, it's saying no, 2,679, 2,684 megahertz. So it's bouncing between the lowest to the highest. So the lowest is what? 900 and something, 998 megahertz to 2.8 gigahertz. So it's bounce back and forth. Bus speed is anywhere between 99.45 megahertz to 100 and that's what it bounces between. The multiplier is by 27. So L1 cache is 24 bits, 2 of those, so that's what, 48, 6-way. L1 instruction 232, 8-way. And you got level 2 cache, 4 meg, 16-way. 2 cores, 2 threads. Now we know the motherboard is the GPU company. The bus is a PCI Express 2.0 5.0 gigabytes. What's it? With a GT per second? Okay. DDR4 4 gigs. The RAM frequency is the 1060.6 megahertz. That seems to be bouncing around too. Okay. I guess it can't read where the memory is. It can't read the slots. There's no slots. Everything's on the motherboard. And then here's Intel graphics. Okay, so that's that. There's not much on that to look at. Then we look at GPU-Z. I like to poke around. So this is 600 Gemini Lake. Release is December 2017. Even though I got this in 2020. When I got this? 2022. Yeah, I got this in 2021. It supports DirectX 12. It's DDR4 64-bit. Driver update, March 18. But it can't read the CPU clock, and it can't read the memory bus. OpenCL, Direct Compute, Direct ML, Direct GL 4.6. What does that say? Vulkan? Vulkan. The sensors, CPU clock, system memory load, 3,148. CPU temperature is 57 Celsius. That's pretty high. You got to pick up 39. It's like 102, 107. Advanced, nothing there. Validation, nothing there. Well, that's about it on that. Now let me take you to so in the SHD, which is the micro SD, which is an XD. I'm not going to right click on this because I'm not checking. This is the TCP optimizer I told you about that you need to grab. I don't know. I don't think that the 11. I don't know if they're still playing. I don't know, they cease operations. But it does support 11. Okay, so click. Okay, so it's telling you that you don't have permission to. I think somebody asked me about that. Yeah, you just don't double click on it. You have to right click on administrator to give it permission because it's going to make set changes to Windows. And so Microsoft is really strict with that. So any changes like to settings, you can install what you want, but anything for settings, it's going to change it. Live time is 64 MTU. That's the thing. I don't know why Microsoft does not change the MTU by default. They don't get it. Okay, so this is showing the NIC card that's in there. But I'm using this one, AC 802.11 AC. Same brand too. They use the same Realtek. Everything's Realtek. Everything's Realtek. I think Realtek is either a Chinese or Taiwanese company. Can't remember offhand. So here you can change the connection speed. Well, mine is mine's 1.2 gig, but see, it doesn't show it here. All right, so I changed. These don't change. These are 10. So Microsoft did change these, but these were changed. Local priorities 4, house priorities 5, DNS is 6, and net PT priority is 7. Because they had some large numbers here. This is the initial RTO is 2000. They did change that, but this program didn't change because it's already there. Well, it would have changed it. So this is the buffer. This is 64K. Maximum user port. Well, it's the same thing. That's what it comes out to be. Okay. QNS is set to 0. I mean, you can go into. Now, since this is not pro, you won't go into group policy. You have to do it a different way. But this program can go into home and change the setting because you want the QNS to 0. Otherwise, the system's going to use 80%. Well, out of the box, it's 80%. You want to knock out that 20. Okay, stack. Now, I changed mine. There's a BIOS setting. I was going to talk about this. See, they have Nathaniel algorithm. He believes if you set that to 1 and TCP no delay to 1, gaming, I guess this 2, they'll stack to 1, gaming would be better. It'll connect to servers. But the impact is you lose bandwidth. Your connection speed really reduces. So that's the drawback by enabling those frequencies. So by default, it's set to 0. So that's a gaming tweak. If you want to treat, you're gaming like you play your online game like GTA, Call of Duty, maybe Halo, you're playing that, or Star Trek Online. I mean, it's not really, if you go into the NIC card and change the settings, change it from the default settings, like for instance, make sure it's not on auto detect. If you have a router that you can change, like a managed router or a smart router, and you can change the port settings on that and set it to the max. You know, you have like 10, 100, 1000, maybe a gig, 10 gigabytes, which is really 7 gigabytes, you know, to be honest, if you're into networking. Because when it's 100, it's really 60. When it's 1, it's 10. When it's 1000, it's going to be 600. That's the way it's set up. It never achieved a high number. The only way, if you got one, I have 1.2 gig, but everything here, the modem can go up to 2 gig. Sorry, not the modem. Yeah, the modem can go up to 2 gig. The router goes up to 1 gig. I would have to change out the router. But the router is a business class router, where it's, you know, you have 13 antennas. You got an amp for that, so it's an array. It's not bad. I mean, it used to cost 200 and something. I got it for like less than $50. But it's cloud based, so you need your smartphone to control it. You can't go in there from your browser to connect. I mean, you could. It don't work like that. It's supposed to be a security control, so it's and it has a ring and it makes a noise when it connects. And if it doesn't connect, there's an amber light. It's pretty neat. A TP-Link makes it. Everything in the house is TP-Link. Well, I used to support them. They used to send me hardware and a test. This is not a sponsor for them. I don't do that no more. I used to sit on conference meetings. I miss that stuff. Oh wow, I gotta charge this. I forgot all about this. It's a drawback with this stuff. I do solar power. I built myself a solar generator, and that's to charge my phones, my smartwatch, and everything. I still have this watch here. I did a review. Remember this? This is a 1.71 screen. This is pretty neat. This still works. Oh, then I'm gonna do a follow update on this. But yeah. I should tell TP-Link. I said, listen, you want these routers and switches to run at the max, you know? Don't have no bottleneck. Don't lock it down. More people will buy your hardware. Yeah. Well, I bought their business enterprise layer switch and router. But the router, I mean, the switch it lasts more than 5 years. I mean, 10 years, still going. But the router died. Well, I pushed that router. I used to do a lot of stuff with the router. The router was only 350 single core, 350 megahertz. This thing here is dual core, 1 gig. I think it's 1 gig of RAM. It's dual core. I forget what it is in hertz. It's a better unit. They still have them cheap though. They have a lot of them. But there was a project with Google and TP-Link. They have an ASUS version. Yeah, so you use Google Home app. Google used to have Google Wi-Fi now, but you use Google Home app to control the router. So you can change the DNS lookup instead of using what the default is, what, 1.1 or something like that, or 8.8 or something like that, and you can put wherever you want, and you can check for it. There's an app that you can look at, and you can see which servers are faster. You get better system performance. I should really go into that and teach a lot of you that, those of you don't know. I was really, really into this stuff. I actually wrote a script where you don't have to use TCP optimize. I still have it, but I have to make some modifications to it. What it would do is to go in there and change all the settings so the system would run at peak performance. Yeah. But this does it too. Alright, so TCP wait time is 10, 6, 7, like that. So if you want to speed up your gaming tweak, these are the settings. You just set them to 1. Right here. You see my finger? You set them to 1. If I can zoom in on my finger. Can I zoom in? Oh, I could. Wow, look at that. Cool. So here. This is what I was talking about. These settings here, by default, they're set to 0. you would have to change all of them to 1 to get better system performance for gaming. But you pay a price when you do that on internet speeds. So it's supposed to allow you to connect better to the server that you're connecting to. And the game's supposed to work better. I haven't personally tried it, but I can't really comment. Oh, look at that. I can zoom in. Oh, too bad. All the time I could show you more things. Yeah, so these settings get changed. So the default is high numbers. I don't know. So it's 4, 5, 6, and 1, and 7 now. There my advanced. Oh, good Lord. Okay. This is the default NIC. There's no way to disable it. You can disable it now in Windows 11 with all these major updates. So it's turned off. And I use this one here. 8011 AC. That's what this one is. This is just $9. I gotta pay for this. $9? Yeah, this is AC 1200. This is 8011 AC. This thing. Oh, let me show you. I guess I can turn this. I guess I don't have to go like this. See it there? I did a review on it. This wireless adapter here. This one here. I zoom. Oh, I can zoom into it. Look at that zooming. Wow, cool. That's what I'm using. I'm not promoting the company, but I'm just saying. And this antenna, you can change it to any antenna size you want. That's a 5 dBi gain. It's good enough. I mean, I experiment using this in the TCP link version. Theirs get very hot though. Holy Christ. Theirs I paid, I think 19. There was on some Amazon had some deal. Sometimes Amazon have deals. It's sometimes good to get on the deals. Well, anyway, this is a SpeedGuide.net. It's from the SpeedGuide.net site, and it's SD Optimizer 4. It says Windows 10. I don't know. I don't think they have anything for 11. I don't even know if these guys are still playing around with it. There was a time where people were really into peaking the laptop and desktop at maximum performance. And I was one of those guys too. And I wrote